Hey y'all, this is Jing Zhang's Concubine Daughter's Survival Manual. Yang Qi just wants her and her twin brother to survive till adulthood and live well. But that's a bit hard when you have a scheming stepmother, 6 older half-sisters with their own wants and desires, and an arrogant duke's heir with a crush on her. Yang Qi definitely has her work cut out for her, but she can make it happen. So I'm not even gonna bother to try and pronounce the actual name for this story. But just know it's supposed to be a drama. Honestly, I ran up into it when I was looking for a good copy of The Legend of the Concubine's Daughter Minglan. And even though it took me about 3 weeks to fully finish, I'm gonna say that this was a very good story, and I hope to see the drama keep the plot mostly intact, because it's a transmigration story and they're definitely going to delete that part. Ultimately, this is a story about not being too greedy, but finding a situation that works best for you. Yang Qi is daughter 7 in a family of about 8 kids, the youngest person being her twin brother. And the thing about these two siblings is that they were technically separated at birth because he was a boy and the main wife did not have a son. So Yang Qi's mom was concubine number 9. And when concubine number 9's 2 kids were born and the second one turned out to be a boy, Yang Qi's dad picked up that little boy and took the boy to the main wife's room and was like, yeah, here you go. Which is understandable, but if you know anything about households with a bunch of concubines, it's not great for the concubines. So when the story starts, Yang Qi's mama is essentially dying, and she was like, I'm gonna have to get you into the main house under the main wife, and you're gonna have to make this work out for you and your brother. I'm sorry I can't be here with you, but you and your brother need to grow up and live well, and that's the best I can hope for you. And when you consider that Yang Qi is 7 as this is happening, it sounds like a lot. But if you watch enough, if you're into enough web novels, it ain't even comparing to be new. And then finding out Yang Qi is a transmigrator feels like a throwaway at the beginning of the story, but as time goes on, her experiences in the modern world really left enough of a mark on Yang Qi that she still has modern sensibilities at some point. So the book is about 303 chapters altogether, and you spend I want to say really the first 100 125-ish, maybe 150-ish watching Yang Qi grow up through the house, becoming an asset to a stepmother, and really gaining control of the inner courtyard. Because people underestimate her at the beginning, but homegirl knows how to play all her hands, and they learn very quickly. And then in the second half of the book, Yang Qi is married into the Shou family. And that's his own drama. I don't want to talk about it, but there is a bit of a murder plot that she kind of has to figure out while also gaining control of the Shou family and everything that entails. Now, there is romance in this story. Don't feel like that gets left out, but to me, it doesn't really feel like that's at the forefront. It does a lot of crawling around in the background, and they have their big moments, but in my opinion, the scheming and the slowly gaining control is the plot. And honestly, Yang Qi has her idea of what she wants in life and what she needs to do to make sure her brother's sorted. So there is a bunch of situations where if she don't have to kill nobody, she's not going to. So she makes deals with people and she does her best to make sure those people are sorted as long as they do what she needs them to do. And it is within the romance that we do get that you really see Yang Qi's modern sensibilities. Because essentially she tells her husband, you could either have the whole of me and all of that entails, but you can't have no concubines. Or you can have what everybody else has, and you just won't have the whole of me. And honestly, I thought that was very well done. Very well done. Walking back to the murder plot one more time, there was a character you could not tell me low-key that character wasn't a murder. She was conveniently in the right spot too many times, you know? And like she has a moment where her true face comes out, but she's still not a part of the murder plot. I just thought that was so wild. That being said, like I said before, I stumbled on this story looking for the story of the concubine's daughter Ming Lan, because after the last story, Lan Chen Mei Jin, I'm just in the mood to read about concubine daughters. Like, they can have good marriages as far as like simple families, scholars, farmers, or like people with a bunch of land, merchants even. But they can't have great marriages. Like, they don't get to be main wives of like dukes or noblemen or anything. And then if they do get to that, they're usually like a second wife. And to be quite fair, that's what happened here, even though Yang Chi originally wanted to like be in like a lesser family, just have her nice little farm family and go on by her business. Like, back in track, the Yang family again has 8 kids. 6 of them have concubine mothers. So while the son being adopted into the main house can still get a good marriage, because he's adopted under the main wife, 4 of these girls really have to take what they can get and hope for the best. And to be quite fair, the concubine daughters actually end up having pretty good marriages, but they still have their own difficulties. The legitimate daughters also have pretty good marriages, but hey, you gotta read it. But yeah, like a lot of the web novels that I had read, as far as the costume dramas and whatnot, they had been operating from, a lot of times they were legitimate children, having to fight their younger second wife siblings or younger concubine siblings for their right places and whatnot. Funnily enough, the web novel for The Sword and Brocade ended up popping up on My Drama Novel. My Drama Novel is the one that's hosting Concubine Daughter Survival Manual. But the web novel for The Sword and the Brocade ended up popping up on My Drama Novel. So now it's on my list because Sword and the Brocade is a concubine daughter novel. I'm probably not going to read that right away, but it's on my list. I'm still also trying to read The Concubine's Daughter Ming Lan, but that's not on My Drama Novel, despite the fact that story is in fact a drama at the moment. So that one's going to be pushed a little bit further down the list because I like my web novels to be fully translated and not bootleg. But in any case, I do want to speak about the drama itself. Like I said, I randomly stumbled upon this on My Drama Novel. So I have no idea when this drama is even going to start filming, nor who they decided to pick as the main characters. But I do feel like the plot should stay as intact as much as it can. Because once you, like, there's no epilogue on this story, but once you read it the whole way through, like, this plot is damn near perfect. Can some of the characters be deleted? Of course. A couple of these siblings are just fine in the novel, but would be dang near wasted. Like, the drama just doesn't have time for all of these families. There's also an implied boy love plot between the Emperor and Yang Chi's older cousin. I'm pretty sure that's not gonna make it into the drama. But the rest of it, oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yang Chi has to get revenge on everybody who tries her. That being said, I gave this story 5 stars, absolutely. If you like stories about concubine daughters, romance between a modern woman and an ancient man, and inner house battles, then this one is for you. High key, my next story is probably going to be Tyrannical Wang's beloved wife, but I still got about 200 chapters of the Battle of the Noble Ladies that I need to go ahead and finish. But don't be surprised if I pop up with a monster fucking novel. Y'all be easy.